must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Today in Africa, we see a lot of uprisings, planning for uprisings, plotting for uprisings in several African countries. The events on the African continent, therefore, as predicted much earlier myself, in 2017, I said, before 2020, 13 African countries would have undergone either soft regime change, soft coups, or violent regime change through uprising, which now seem to be real. The signs that and the symbols that we see are the real symbols and the signs that more is to come against African governments. What do we do then? There is a new method of changing governments strategically placed in the United States of America by George Soros. George Soros funds civil societies, civil disobedience, civil violence in Africa. It is upon you Africans and African heads of state, wherever you are, as you plan to convene next month or before the end of this month in Addis Ababa, to understand the magnitude of this regime change strategy. Many wars are taking place, internal strife, conflicts like the one in Cameroon, Amazonia, like the one in Biafra, Boko Haram, and then in Biafra, like the one in Libya. But the theme is the same. Regime change, uprising. Is it a matter of taking over our resources? You see, the war in Congo has erupted again. Unknown militias have arrived in Congo, restarted the war, and it is going on. All these culminate to one thing. Are we ready to be independent? As I said last week, this week, are people in Africa ready to accept the results of elections? Elections everywhere in Africa are bringing the chaos we see. The people of Africa seem to be divided after elections or before elections. Is Africa ready for elections? Do we need elections in Africa? If so, are we tolerant enough to accept results? Are we ready? Which method can we use in Africa to make sure that there is hope for the countries and there is hope and the future of Africa is guaranteed? Viewers, the High Court in Malawi today or yesterday was hearing a case when the president had already been sworn in. If the president of Malawi has been sworn in, then the High Court is hearing the case. Is that not a disaster, an accident in waiting? Whether this will make us have a peaceful Africa remains to be seen. And may God help us to build a better Africa. Thank you very much. Today, thousands and thousands of Africans and many countries in Africa have conflicts. Notably, from Libya, Cameroon, Nigeria, Biafra, and Boko Haram, to Democratic Republic of Congo, of where we have seen a resurgence of the past military and conflicts coming back in that country. Hundreds and hundreds of people have been displaced, killed, maimed, tortured, raped, several of them dying of hunger, starvation, and other natural causes. The fighting seems not to be ending. For the sake of Libya, the Libyan recognized international government is under siege in Tripoli from another faction recognized by Egypt, France, UAE, and other countries. Whereas the one in Tripoli is recognized by the UN. It has been bombarded, has been strangulated, and many millions of Libyans are dying of hunger, lack of water. The water system has been cut off. The bombardment goes on. In Democratic Republic of Congo, we've seen more of active rebel activities returning to the region after some silence has been observed. When we come to Cameroon, we see millions and millions of Amazonians slaughtered. Yet, when you come to Biafra, again millions and hundreds of millions and millions are worried, displaced, tortured by the Buhari regime. Yet again in the north, we see Boko Haram killing, maiming, abducting, and burning down villages in the same Nigeria. When you cross over to Central African Republic, the same is the history that has littered Africa. While all these events are taking shape, Africa is silent. Africa is not making enough efforts to find a solution to what is causing the problems in Libya, in DRC, in Cameroon, in Nigeria, Biafra, and now you add in Khartoum, Sudan. As people die, the people of Africa have no answers, have no solutions. There is nothing to endear to bring an end to the conflicts that have killed Africa. We seem to be new ones manufactured old ones reignited, encouragement coming from external powers. One power that has been seen in the shadows of all these conflicts, especially the one of Libya that has escalated in the Sahara region of Africa, is France. When you come to Democratic Republic of Congo, the same country is in the shadows. The war can be seen is France. When you come to Cameroon, in Amazonia, the one behind that has the key to bringing peace is France. Therefore, our question as Africans, why are we silent? Why are we not saying enough is enough of the wars? Thank you.
Launching the BBI Task Force report. Makofi.
Your Excellency, I am very happy that the document, the recommendations and the proposals that have been put forward informs us on how to build institutions to get our politics away from personalities and ethnicities to institutions that will carry all of us irrespective of who we are, where we come from, the language we speak, or the political party we subscribe to.
Kusema ya kwamba pesa mingi ije mashinani, tunaunga mkono. Ipelekwe mpaka ifike kama kuanzia 35% kuelekea juu. Hiyo pesa itumike kwa mambo ya maendeleo, not for consumption. Recurrent expenditure should not be above 30%. 70% should go for development.
Ni kwa nini baada ya kila miaka mitano tunaenda miaka mitatu ya kazi, miaka ya 2 tunapoteza kwa sababu siasa imechacha? Tunataka tuulize wafanyabiashara wetu wenzetu, ni nini inawazuia? Ni nini tuwaweza kufanya ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba biashara zenu hazisimami? We must have development plans that are 20 years plus if we are to resolve our problems, my brothers and sisters. Tunataka tuwapatie assurance ya kwamba wanaweza kupatia wananchi mikopo ya miaka 10, miaka 15, kwa sababu they have confidence ya kwamba Kenya will be stable and Kenya will always have leadership, whoever it is.
Fellow Africans, since 1957, when Ghana gained independence, there has been quite a lot of political, social, economic indicators on the African continent that show that Africa has progressed from pre-independence Africa to post-independence Africa.
Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. From now on, there is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs.
66 years down the road, Africa finds itself with the first country, Ghana, having gained independence. We find ourselves still locked up, controlled, manipulated, instructed, logistically supplied, equipped by foreign powers that dictate our agenda. Africa is endowed with plenty of minerals, resources, good weather. The climate is so favorable for the growth of food enough to sustain us. But we find ourselves in countries where hunger is killing people. Hunger is killing people because most of the people have taken to arms to fight wars, conflicts. Starvation has taken the place of development. In most African countries like Sudan, South Sudan, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Nigeria, in Biafra, and the north of Nigeria there is Boko Haram, Somalia in the Horn of East Africa. We have taken to conflict instead of development. Development was the key indicator. When Kwame Nkrumah made the first speech that seek ye African political unity, economic development will come automatically, he was right. The events happening in Libya today vindicates Nkrumah, vindicates Nyerere, Sekou Toure, and Nasser, the founding fathers of our Pan-Africanism. The events happening in Central African Republic, in Congo today, as the war of rebels ranges on between the rebel and the rebels and the government and the government and the rebels, vindicates the founding fathers of this revolution. Our independence, therefore, was only on paper. Our independence, therefore, was only in symbols. Our independence also was in signs. Our independence also was in boundaries. That we received our flags, but we never received full independence as by the word independence. Most of the 3/4 of African countries, French-speaking countries, have their budgets being done in Paris. Is that independence? The Paris government or the French government does its budgets based on how much they will get from African countries. Is that independence? Is this the Africa that you want? Is it the Africa that we must look at? Is it the Africa that we shall leave for the future generation? If the answer to you is yes, then so be it. But if the answer is no, you agree with me that this is not the Africa we want to live for the future generation. Our generations and the future generation need to find a legacy. What is the legacy that Africa and African Union will leave for the future generation? The wars ranging in Libya, in South Sudan, in Khartoum, in Mogadishu, in DRC Congo, in Amazonia, in Cameroon, Boko Haram, Mali, in Mauritania, the uprisings in Algeria, all point to one thing, that yes, we are not yet independent. We are still controlled by external forces. Thank you. Conflicts in Africa have become the daily occurrence. Daily occurrences in many countries, in the sense that almost every African country, apart from the few, there is tension. One wonders where this tension at times comes from. Some of it comes from elections, a manufactured election, a disputed election results. Some come from territory. Some are terrorist-based, like that of Somalia and Boko Haram. Some are because of regime change, purely sponsored by external forces. But 95 to 96% of conflicts in Africa occur through the sponsorship of external darker forces that would like to benefit out of the spoils of war. George Soros stands as one person who has always been and will always be and shall be until the end, a man who sponsors any type of chaos, who does not follow which type of chaos he is sponsoring, as long as it is chaos that can topple a person he hates in Africa. Many African countries are undergoing this pressure, this tension, especially those that are conducting elections and whose timetable for elections seem to be coming in the near future. As a result of that, Africa stands warned, and Africa must stand on alert about the external forces that want to dismember this continent and create heavens of war, create insecurity, create mirage peace that Africans have fought after 66 years of gaining political independence. It is therefore my submission that most African countries, if they don't look at what George Soros is doing, we might have a shocker one morning, one by one African country being pushed out and the leaders being pushed out of power. The events, therefore, in South Africa, as proved from these detailed undercover operations, they prove that George Soros indeed has a say in South African politics. And therefore, we want to urge Africans and African heads of state and their military and intelligence systems to be careful and watch on the amount of money that is being pumped into their economies, because some of the money could be George Soros money that will end up to bring public disorder in most of the African countries. Thank you very much, viewers.
We were way ahead of them in our civilization. They set out to destroy us. And Berlin Conference put the nail on that coffin. So they gave Djibouti the same sovereignty as the United States. They gave Burundi the same sovereignty as China. They gave Togo. You see, the EU realizes individual little countries, they can't survive on the world stage. So they come together as the European Union. Now picture this now. So they cut up this Africa into the tiny little countries, small economies that could never survive on their own, but gave them the same sovereignty as the big boys. So that way, when the little bitty countries go to the world stage for the purposes of development and discussing trade, they're wannabe boxers who are being thrown into the heavyweight boxing ring every day. How How do you put China in the same boxing ring with Eswatini? Eswatini has 1.2 million people. China has 1.4 billion people. And you put them on the same stage and say, go at it, negotiate. Are you with me? Yes. This is insanity of the highest order. How have we allowed this carnage to go on? When Eswatini is thrown in the same boxing ring with China and Eswatini collapses before Eswatini even gets on the stage, the world says, well, Eswatini, what's wrong with you? Why can't you take care of your people? Well, China came in and said, Eswatini, give me all your gold or else. And if Eswatini does not agree, they just go on next door to Lesotho and give Lesotho an extra $1. And if Lesotho doesn't take it, they just jump on to Togo, Central African Republic. It was all by design. 1884. They did something else in addition to chopping us up. They also set out to make the African believe that everything African was bad and undesirable, and everything Western, particularly French and British, was more desirable. We call that the legacy of colonization. Prior to that, they had started long working on the slaves. Make them think everything about them, forget anything about Africa. Where you come from is a horrible place, diseased and dying people, constantly at war with themselves, uncivilized. Cut out any communications with them. You need to just know what we tell you. And we call that the legacy of slavery. So that's where you look at where we are today. 135 years later, a system that was put in place to see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated, that Africa is forever exploited, remains in place today, alive and well. And we sit here and we ask ourselves, why isn't Africa moving forward? Why does Africa continue to be taken advantage of? Well, I'll tell you why, very simply. Until Africa comes together as a continent speaking with one voice, one continent, one people, nothing, and I repeat, nothing is gonna change. As individual little African countries, we are wannabe boxers. We will never make it fighting against the heavyweights. We must speak with one voice. Yeah. And this is exactly what our Pan-African leaders wanted to see happen in 1963 when they came together in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. They clearly stated that Africa for the Africans at home and abroad, and that African Union was now. They said Africa must speak with one voice. It is the only way for Africa to take its rightful place on the world stage. Sadly, when they went to Addis Ababa in 1963, they were divided. We had two factions, the Casablanca group and the Monrovia group. The Casablanca group were saying Africa for the Africans at home and abroad, and African Union now. This was Ghana, Guinea, Mali, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. Only 7. The other 25 of the 32 who attended were the Monrovia group. They were the nationalists. They said, let's go slow. Let's kind of wait on this Pan-African thing. 55 years later, 56 this year, we're still going slow. As if it wasn't bad enough that we were divided up into the tiny little countries that we are today. The gift that Berlin Conference gave us. One other thing that France did between 1958 and 1961 in the name of giving us our independence as African countries. France forced the Francophone, and I hate that terminology. There is no such thing as Francophone, Anglophone. They made it up. But for the purposes of communication, I will use that. 14 of those countries, they said, in order for you to get your independence from us, you must sign this document. You thought they could have found a better name for the document. The document was called the Pact for the Continuation. I repeat, the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization. We are talking about giving you independence, but sign this pact for the continuation of colonization in a different format. And I'm going to highlight some of those issues that they said you must agree to if you are going to be independent. Hello. Maybe we need to redefine the meaning of independence for the French. First, France said, you see, you monkeys, you don't know how to manage your money. We're going to demand that you deposit 85% of your bank reserves with the French Minister of Finance. Under the French Central Bank, under the control of the French Minister of Finance. France is then going to take your 85% bank deposits from each and every one of you. Deposit those funds in the French stock market under the French name. And you may or may not know the returns. Today, as we speak, the latest figures are saying for every 14 billion that France invests in the stock market from Africa, they are realizing upwards of 300 billion in return. Every year in, year out, because of these deposits from the African countries, France is taking out of Africa over $500 billion. Now figure it out. For every 14 billion, the returns on the investment are over 300 billion, and they are taking over 500 billion. So in actuality, France is taking out of Africa trillions of dollars year in and year out from us poor people, Africans. Back to the pact. So should you want to access
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya in Nairobi. Good morning, Casablanca. Good morning, Cairo. Good morning, Lusaka. Good morning, Harare. Good morning. Wherever you are in Addis Ababa, good morning, the headquarters of African Union. Good morning, Cairo, Asmara, Mogadishu. Good morning. Good morning, Abuja, Accra, Côte d'Ivoire, Abidjan. Good morning. Good morning, Kigali in Rwanda. Good morning, Bujumbura. Good morning. Thank you very much in Dar es Salaam. Good morning, the headquarters of Pan-Africanism, southern part of it. Good morning. Good morning in Algiers, where Benebera was ruled, liberated. Good morning, Tunis. Good morning wherever you are in Bamako. Thank you very much. Good morning in Banjul. I understand Yahya wants to return home. Good morning. These are all good news for Africa. Good morning. Good morning, all of you, wherever you are in Europe, in the diaspora, in Kingston, Jamaica. Good morning. Pan-African dream never dies. Pan-African dream, as this lady said, we shall defend it. Pan-African dream must always remain open. Good morning in Cameroon, in Bua, Amazonia. Good morning, the suffering people of Amazonia. Light is coming. Don't give up. Good morning, Biafra, across Nigeria. Mr. Buhari is slaughtering you. Don't give up. We shall fight along. We shall find a solution. It's only a two-way state. Two states in Cameroon. There is no fear about this time in Africa. Next month we shall be in the African Union. We shall be saying it. Enough is enough. The killings in Africa must stop. The theme of the conflict this time is of the continent is the conflicts must stop. There is no shortcut. You can go to hell, you can go to heaven, you can come back. The shortcut is not there. We must stop the conflicts that are killing Africa. Good morning, Pretoria. Good morning. President Ramaphosa cancels all the trips in defiance of Zimbabwe not being invited. That is the African spirit. Thank you very much, Ramaphosa. I wish African heads of state could stand up and talk the walk the talk. Good morning, Africa. Things in Africa amuse me. Malawi, an election. He was sworn in at night. He wants to be declared again at night. Good morning. What's happening in Africa? Madagascar, Antananarivo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wherever you are in Zanzibar, the island of the Oman Empire, the island of peace, the cloves, the growing cloves that the people wanted. What are the cloves? Cloves. I'm talking like English now. The cloves. One of the main exporters of cloves for the Arab economy of mercantile Arabism was the growth of cloves from the island of Zanzibar. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, Africa. Democratic Republic of Congo, a country with minerals, what with less tears to follow to clean the people. Good morning again, Africa, Congo, Brazzaville. Good morning, South Sudan. Time counts against South Sudan. Starting from next week, we shall be counting the time. We want to put a position where why the peace cannot come. Good morning, Salva Kiir. Good morning. We shall help you from next week. We shall help you. Don't pay Reinberg any money. Pay Africans money. Pay them a few dollars. We shall be able to defend you. Because the same Reinberg is looking for a United Nations tribunal to take the South Sudanese instead of getting them peace. Good morning. In Khartoum, my friend General Hamed Dagalo. Good morning, brother. Fellow military men, thank you. Thank you. Keep it up. Don't allow any ICC to come there that they are taking Bashir. Bashir should be tried by the law. South Sudan, has the law to try Bashir. Don't export an African to be tried in a court abroad. Good morning, Africa. In Cairo, General Assis, you extend your power to 2032. You ban all political activities. You pretend to be the chairman of African Union. Shame. Good morning across Tripoli. Pains me when I see Tripoli bleeding. It pains me when I see Libyans begging. It pains me when I see education destroyed. It pains me infrastructure destroyed. It pains me to see no water for the people of Libya when they live near an ocean. It pains me to see Africans dying crossing over Mediterranean Sea. Good morning, Tripoli. General Khalifa Haftar, you are a sellout. You are a puppet of the American imperialism and the French hegemony that has killed Africa. Good morning, Turkey. Thank you. Bring the troops. Let's check these guys. Let's check these guys. For the first time, I will stand with Turkey to say we African Union lost direction. To say that the African Union has no direction. It is bought, it is taken, it has been taken. It has been sold, captured by a certain non-African power which directs it what to do, where to do, how to do it. Good morning, Africa. Hey, Africa, my Africa in Mauritania. Good morning. Good morning in Asmara, the sleeping giant of the east of the Red Sea. Good morning, Afeki. Afeki, you're a dictator. Afeki, you're a dictator. I saw you. We worked together. Mr. Afeki in London. You know me, this face. Maybe let me take specs off. Because you remember that time, Mr. Afeki, I did not have the specs. I was a young man, 1990, 1991, with you in London. We worked so hard. You were working for the Ethiopian Relief Organization. I was working for the Uganda Community Relief Association, resettling refugees that had run away from Uganda, Ethiopia, and Africa. The Kenyans joined in big numbers in 1992. I remember you. Mr. Afeki, you're a dictator. You never even wanted us to have a drink in a pub. It's our choice. It's our choice. Afeki of Eritrea, you sponsor terrorism. Good morning. Good morning. Stop sponsoring terrorism. Africa does not need such leaders. We tell you off. We know what you do. We know the stories you are doing. Good morning, Afeki. I know you from 1990, 1987 in London. We were together with Zenawi. In fact, the best man was Zenawi. I knew you'd be a very bad man. You never even wanted us to watch football. Yet we were close to Emirates Stadium of this infamous, is it a famous club called, because my club is Liverpool. I am told it is called Arsenal. Good morning, supporters of Arsenal. Don't get annoyed. I am simply saying something nice. Good morning, Africa. That is the Africa we want. That is the Africa we want. Good morning, Mogadishu. Mr. Farimajo. Farimajo. Good morning. Good morning, Farimajo, but the problem you have is you're a satellite state. You are being used. You're a Republican. You're a Republican. You're a Republican. You must first know you are Somali, not an American. Think about that case in the ICJ. Because this year, it is a do or die with me, you and me. Maybe not the Kenya government, you and me. If I fail to pass a vote of no confidence in your parliament with those MPs whom I filled forms for in London, they didn't know how to fill their papers. Good morning. I have 110 of them. They know me. This is the guy speaking. Remember me, Mr. Farimajo. With your prime minister, you are a problem. That Kasimoro prime minister of Somalia is the one selling Somalia, selling oil, which he has not seen. Good morning. Oh, this is Africa now. I know it here. I know the problems. Good morning, Kampala. Good morning, President Museveni. Good morning, President Kagame. What a disgrace between the two of you. You haven't opened the border. What a shame. Good morning to you. what will you do? What will you do if you don't open the border? What will Ugandans do? I am one of those who has suffered because the border closed. My livelihood depended on the trucks. Just want to thank Kagame for having listened to me to allow my trucks to get out. Good morning, the rest of you. President Museveni and Kagame, today I am charged. Open the border. Open the border. Forget your ego. Nobody is interested. One trained the other. So one has to respect the other. Choose who should respect the other, the younger one. Good morning. Yes, and President Museveni respected the other younger generation. Yes, he has grown. Give him. There is nothing to sit down. You see, most of the problems of African diplomats, sit down, we talk. Talk what? Talk what? Talk what? What do you talk? It's a simple African culture. We solve this thing by saying the truth. You talk what? Museveni trained Kagame. Therefore, Museveni is older than Kagame. I am older than Kagame. Because when all of us were in Tanzania, training in Nachingwea, and Tabora, and Dodoma, Arusha, Lukaya, Chikagati, all of us were together, but you are younger. Now listen, 10 years ahead of you, sit down, sort the problem. Jamen, we know there is a proxy war here in East Africa. Those who don't want to know it, your problem. But you know it. I will tell you, 4 years ago I said there is a proxy war here. And the people could not believe me. What do you see here now? Tullow Oil, what is it doing? It is trying to slowly to sell its assets to Total Oil. Be careful, Kenya. Be careful, Kenya. And if what I say, if it doesn't come right, record it and we see it when we reach God. Good morning, Bujumbura. A president who does not get out to go to the toilet, because he says there is a coup. Good morning, Africa. What type of Africa is this? We are coming to the topic and I want to introduce my co-host. But let me finish with Bujumbura. The president does not go to the toilet. He sits on the seat. Good morning. Why is it constitutionalism in Africa is paining people? Who told you that 5 years is the benchmark of political science? I'm asking. China, where we borrow money. China, which gives United States of money at night. United States of America borrows money from China at night. But it doesn't want Africa to borrow money during that time. But China has no democracy. It has its own format of social contract. The Chinese eat once in a day noodles with some soup and rice. And probably one dog here out of 3. It's not my problem. I don't eat dogs. Therefore, I don't stop people from eating dogs. If you eat, it's your problem. But they work hard. China is ruled by 7 people. 7 generals, good morning. 7 only. Kwisha. They have no elections. We in Africa waste money plan, give Chebukati bribes. He swells and fattens in his office, eating money. Oh, I am the chairman of the Electoral Commission. Have you seen a chairman of the Electoral Commission in China? Show me one name. Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria, Abuja. Abuja, the butcher of Abuja. The tall man, 6.1 feet. Stop killing people in Biafra. Don't slaughter your own people. Fight Boko Haram. Ask for international help to finish Boko Haram. Why are you sparing Boko Haram? Are they because they are Muslims? Then you come to slaughter us, the Christians in the south. Good morning. Yeah. That's the problem of Nigeria. This guy, Buhari, promised that he will finish Boko Haram in 100 days. Where are they? They are still killing people. And he has left them, he has come down. He has told the army to come down. In the men 54 million who refused to vote, slaughter them. The pictures coming out of Nigeria are a shame. Are a shame. Africa must rise and shine again. I have no regrets. Whether here or there, I will even speak bad words. I want to thank the Sky News for the offer. And I will be there. And you will watch what damage I can do. Oh my God. Good morning. Yes, I went to school to study tools of analysis. Don't play about with me because I'm begging here, I'm begging them. No. Don't. I influence the world. Jermaine, I influence the world. I told you Ocampo was a thief. Nobody could understand me in Kenya. They thought I came for their money. It now comes out that Ocampo is a thief. It comes out that Ocampo is a thief. Fatou Bensouda is a thief. They faked the evidence to fix the people in Kenya. Did I take your money? You. Good morning. Musicheze mwana mimi, Jamen. Good morning. I'm a soldier first. Yes. Kutishatishwa the civilians. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. Good morning, Harare. Something wrong is happening in Harare. Machete wielding people. Regime changers. Jonathan Moyo, stop it. We know what you are doing. Continue writing. Time will tell. Continue writing. Good morning. Good morning in Kampala again. Is there an election in Uganda? The answer is on paper, yes. But if I were to take part in that election, I would go and have sunshine in Dar es Salaam or Mombasa and sit and hear the results. It has already been won. Simply because the political parties are not organized. At least Kenya, Raila Odinga can mold them together. Good morning. Yes. Lastly, good morning that Paul Obiya, 89 years old, still sticking and falling on the steps of Elysee Palace in France. You still want power? You still want power? Good morning, Paul Obiya, with your wife. Your wife buying hair for $1 million. $1 million. $1 million for hair of dead people from India or Brazil. while people are dying of hunger. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Good morning, Jesus. Come back again and punish us on earth. Don't wait to punish us in heaven. Please, you buy hair for $1 million? The first lady of Cameroon has hair. The hair you see on her head is $1 million. Shame on Africa. Shame. Good morning. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's another country that I've left, is South Sudan. We keep it in our mind and our prayers that the time is ticking towards a signing of a peace agreement. My dear brother, Dr. Riek Machar Tenyi, Dr. Riek Machar Tenyi, I told you when I left my house, I tagged you to hear my words. Your Excellency, time is ticking. Your Excellency, the people who have drafted a resolution, I know them. But I will tell you on 21st, if I see the good signs of your return and you are in Juba. Your Excellency, if you don't turn up, then on midnight of 21st February, I will call you. I will tell you the people who have drafted a resolution that will take you under other commanders plus Salva Kiir and his commanders to the United Nations Tribunal. I will keep it in my heart. Good morning. In Khartoum, I told you I will broadcast it live today. Time is ticking. Time is going. Sign the bloody agreement. Sign the bloody agreement. Put your signature. Allow things to work. I know the South Sudan engagement was not the best. I know the suffering of the people of South Sudan. I know the dying of the women, the children who have never gone to school. I know the conditions under which they are, humanitarian conditions, have worsened. I know the plight of those good people, the real African people, the cradle of civilization that our color came from, are suffering. I know the framers of this agreement might not have been very good framers, because I told them that the South Sudan arrangement and agreement under IGAD might not work. But for the sake of peace, Dr. Riek Machar and the President Salva Kiir, please make a step, move forward. Hitler could have continued to fight, but he moved to surrender and he died. We have never celebrated the day Hitler died, but the Germans know when he died. That is historical. For us, our concern is and remains the concern of the people of Africa, of the region of East Africa, where refugees flock in Kenya, in Uganda. The number of refugees that has risen impacts a lot on the lives of the countries that surround you. Take a step forward. Sign the bloody paper. Sign the agreement. Otherwise, we meet in the tribunal. And I will tell you on 21st which country sponsored the motion. Thank you very much, viewers. Now I turn to the topic, and I want to introduce my co-host, Miriam, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, a few minutes to midday there.
To midday. I have done it.
And you've summarized all the African.
I've done it, yes. It's here.
Yes.
It's here.
Yes.
But let's come to the topic today. Kenya and international relations, what next? First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. My dear brother, Pan-African brother, friend, you know friendship you don't buy. If you don't like each other, you don't. If he doesn't like you, you don't complain. That's why people make mistake here. They say, no. You didn't buy friendship. No. Friendship comes natural from the actions that you take. From the stand, the patriotism, the zeal, the passion to fight for a country. The passion to fight for Africa has earned me the credibility. You can insult me, but I have the passion to fight for Africa. And that is what I would do. I want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for appointing a new Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madam C.S. Rachel Amamo. Rachel Amamo herself is a career activist, a lawyer by profession, a career. I want to tell people something in Kenya. You cannot win international diplomacy if you have never held a strike in school. Hello, are people there? Take your pens. I'm coming now. You cannot win international diplomacy. You cannot win international diplomacy or regional diplomacy if you did not hold a strike. If you are not an activist. What causes diplomacy is activism. Why did the word diplomacy come? It's because there is activism. The two are sisters and a brother. If you want to win ICC cases, you must play activism in order diplomats to say there is a problem. If you want to win ICJ case and withdraw it, tell Somalia and tell Kenya the truth that there is no solution in ICJ. There is a solution in Africa. That's activism. You don't go under court, sugar coat, and tell lies to Somalia. How that, oh, Faramijo, we are very good, we shall work together. No! Faramijo is not working together. Faramijo is selling oil. He has no time. His time is borrowed. He's selling this oil to go to leave the problem to Somali people to solve. He has a prime minister, a Norwegian by a Somali by face, and a Norwegian. He works for Norway. In fact, he's the foreign secretary of Norway in Africa. Hassan Harrier is the foreign secretary of Norway in Africa. The rest, Amamo can correct me. I'm not a diplomat. I've told you. And don't. There was one of the problems that these guys in Africa make is to try to block an activist. He will damage you. Never block an activist. I can damage you. How many people knew that judge there, that Somali judge, has a case in Brussels? It's only me. And I've told him if I find him in court in March, 2 months from now, I will show the tapes. That's activism. You cannot win international relations without activism. Hallelujah. If you have studied it, show me. Bring the paper, I will mark you. And I give you marks, you will fail. I tell my students, I studied it. Ask me anything. Ask me about the measles. Ask me about malaria. Ask me about Global Fund. I will tell you why do they give us Global Fund, yet they even bring disease. Why is it that the disease always comes from Congo forest? AIDS, they say the monkeys in Congo forest. Ebola, they say there's something in what is the problem with Congo forest? Have Africans asked why Congo forest? Why Congo forest is the source of disease? Have you thought about it? Sit down. Someone sits in a laboratory in California and says, no, if you say this disease was found on our toilets, people will fear coming to America. But you say the disease came from Congo. Congo. DRC Congo of Tshisekedi. That's what is happening. That's it. Why is it that every disease comes from the forest of Congo? Ebola, Congo. AIDS, Congo. Cholera, Congo. What else? Measles, Congo. Why Congo? Why Democratic Republic of Congo? Why don't you say it came from the toilets in America, in Mississippi? Why? Any student out today to tell me, challenge me on international relations, here is the boy. Here is the boy. The boy who told Miguna to keep quiet. This is the guy. Have you seen Miguna making noise again? This is the man. I told him, keep quiet. You don't know. Many of us have what you have. We have gone through what you have. What? But you keep quiet and do one thing. Why do you insult the president when you are going to go to his country? Shut up. He's kept quiet, isn't it? He's brewing tea in Berlin.
The tea from Kenya.
He's drinking some tea from Berlin. He said, Kenya tea. So shush, while your passport is being done, diplomatically you will arrive. Why make noise? That Hamima. What the Hamima? What? Dr. Hamima studied this local law here. What local law has he got? Internationalism. Internationalism. Kenya's image internationally will rise. I want to thank President Uhuru Kenyatta for the appointment of Amamo. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank the predecessors for the good work that they have done in international relations. They have brought investments. They have brought Amanelida. Even if I am injured, I won't be emotional. That's why when you tell people I'm going to be 65, they say, because I am never emotional. And anybody dealing with me, mark me, I laugh. But when I become bad, you won't like it. Let me tell some idiots to listen. I don't take prisoners. I'm sorry. I've laughed. You can play with my name, but when I turn, that name is well protected. That's why I have no scar. I have no panga that has cut me. I'm honest. I want to take the opportunity to thank the predecessors for the good work she has done as a Minister of Foreign Affairs of this country, Kenya. We want to continue from where, and the people help Kenya from where she was. That Madame Rachel Amamo proceed to do what is necessary. Kenya has very little time between now, Miriam, and June. The time of making sure we work for this, to make sure we remove the case of ICJ to come back to a table. We call upon Somalia to come to table. Come and sit on table. ICJ does not solve a problem. That's why Israel does not want to go there. That's why America itself does not want to go there. That's why Japan and China don't want to go there. That's why Japan, Russia, and China, Malaysia, Taiwan, Korea, South Korea, and Japan, they quarrel over the sea. They don't know where the border is. But none of them goes to that place to share what they want to do. Look at that. This, as Africans, cultivate the method of coming together to eat, to talk, to sit down, find a solution for some of the problems. That's why I call upon the Somali government to realize that there will be no solution from the ICJ. There will be no solution from the International Court of Justice. Whichever way it goes, Somalia and the Somalis remain part and parcel of the people of Kenya, and the people of Kenya remain part and parcel of people of Somalia. We shall live together, we shall sit together, we shall swim together, we shall pass together, we shall row the boats together in that Indian Ocean. For years we have done so. For years we have done so without knowing this was the border. Diplomatic leaks tells you, sit, review your policy on the conflict, the dispute, the maritime dispute. Mm-hmm. The people of Somalia, let God calm down. Hold you. You have a problem of Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, and other terrorist groups that are running from the Houthi mercenaries across Yemen, entering Eritrea through a Faki territory, are penetrating down into Somalia. Extremists beyond the normal Al-Shabaab tactics are coming up to radicalize even Al-Shabaab themselves. So we have a problem, a common problem, to make sure that we resolve it so that the people of Somalia can live with harmony, with peace and tranquility, and become a nation again. I believe that Africa has so many important people who can help to resolve this conflict. What has happened is now the president has put in place a good team that will work without fights. And I remember one key word I've said, Miriam, before I hand it over to you so that we can discuss and you ask questions, is you cannot do diplomacy without activism. Mark that. Anybody who takes over this ministry of foreign affairs and international relations must have activists on his side. Mm-hmm. We must have too many of our mutatas. That's one. We must have too many of the matsangas, several of them helping, knocking doors. Because on the other side, the countries that want to take us to court have what we call NGOs. Mm-hmm. And those NGOs play a supplementary role to the ICC. You saw here in Kenya, they played a supplementary role to the ICC by giving information to the ICC to indict people. These are all NGOs grown in Kenya though. So a country also must have lobby groups. Thank you very much. Over to you, Miriam, to take over from here.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Doctor. You've summarized all the African news today. Maybe we'll just look at a few towards the end of the show, but also very important, the topic that we have today. And of course, as we know, President Uhuru Kenyatta on Tuesday reassigned the Foreign Affairs docket to Defense Cabinet Secretary Rachel Omamo in changes that will see CS Monica Juma move to Defense Headquarters. So the CS Juma used to be the CS for Foreign Affairs, but now they swapped places, and now Rachel Omamo is at the helm of the Foreign Affairs docket. And as we know, across the world, Foreign Affairs is a very important, ministry or docket that sees how the country, of course, relates to the countries outside of itself. So it's very important. So the CS Rachel Omamo has a lot to deal with, and of course, what he has to deal with very quickly right now, of course, Kenya's bid for the United Nations Security Council. I think Kenya is still lobbying, and as you said, we need activists for that, and as well as the maritime row between Somalia and Kenya. And of course, what started as an economic dispute over the maritime boundary has now exposed bilateral and internal rifts that are threatening the region and are owing to the volatile nature of Somalia's politics and security situation. So this has pitted Kenya and has put Kenya and its forces, even in Somalia, in a very difficult position. So I think we'll wait to see, as a country especially. I'll be interested to see, what Rachel Omamo, how is she going to handle this matter between Kenya and Somalia, because diplomacy is needed, and it's a very delicate situation. We do not want anything to escalate further than it has already. We are, neighbors, so being at loggerheads with each other is not helping anybody. Of course, if anything, Al-Shabaab and other terror groups are the ones who are getting to win this. And so let's just see how, CS Rachel Omamo is going to handle this. So I don't know. The case is coming up in June. It was supposed to be happening like September, and then it was moved to November, and then now it was pushed to June this year. So let's just see perhaps what else, because Somalia had insisted, Kenya wanted really an outside of court settlement and just have talks outside the court, but Somalia insisted no, ICJ is the way to go, and it has stuck to that. Even the AU had come in through the chairperson, Mr. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi there, the Egyptian president, but still Somalia has insisted that, you know what, this case, it will go through the ICJ, and you're ready to go through the whole court process. So Kenya had no choice but also we saw Kenya reconstitute its legal team there in November. That's why it had asked for more time. So a lot is happening, Doctor, and a lot is waiting for CS Omamo. Is she fit for the task?
Yes, I think she will. She will try, because I've given already the analysis why I believe she's fit. I've given the analysis why I believe she is able to find a better way of solving these problems. Not that the other one was not fit. All of them were fit. But the change of tactic, the change of strategy, substance, style. Rachel Omamo herself was a career, she was a diplomat before. She was an activist lawyer during the second liberation and other students. She was a member of the LSK of Kenya. She has seen how it pains. She knows that you cannot go single-handedly in international waters and swim. We have two outstanding issues, or about 4 issues that surround Kenya today. One of the issues that surrounds Kenya is the war in South Sudan, which is IGAD trying to solve at the moment. That's a very important thing, to make sure that that war ends. The second conflict that she has come in as a Minister of Foreign Affairs is the Rwanda-Uganda border shutting of the border, which has impacted on many of our lives. Some of us who used to do business carrying goods from Rwanda to Mombasa, we have been affected very badly. In financially, 6 months, your trucks are sitting in one place, tires are getting rotten. There's no movement. And yet you have school fees to pay, you have so many bills to pay, you have mortgage to pay. So she is coming in at a time when these are there. Two, she's coming in when there is this tension between Iraq, Iran, and the United States. She must find a middle ground where she has to appease the international community. We used to have what we call non-aligned movement. She must spearhead to create non-aligned movement, which was formed by Field Marshal Tito of Yugoslavia, Indira Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Fidel Castro, the Nkrumahs, Haile Selassie, Gabriel Nasser, Mahathir, the Indonesian president, I will tell you the name, he died. One of those are the founding members of non-aligned movements, which actually stabilized the world. Whenever America could go this way, and as Russia goes this way, this movement stuck on the path.
Yes, indeed. And also there's the issue of Kenya, bid for the United Nations Security Council. I don't know how far the former Foreign Affairs Ministry had gone in terms of lobbying. But what can CS Rachel Omamo do differently from what perhaps happened?
We need now, in the final stages, to count how many countries are on our side.
China has refused to take sides.
Yes. You see, yesterday, China was trying to block, and I'm very careful. I'm candid all the time. You hate me. I don't care. Hate me. But I tell the truth. Wajamen, I told you, Djibouti has something that attracts. Because of the quiet waters of the Red Sea. The Red Sea, the other part of the Red Sea of Yemen is very noisy. And the other part of the southern Indian Ocean, in the Indian Ocean, the Mombasa, the currents, up to the currents of Banguera, Mozambican currents, the Banguera currents, you see, this as the water, the water goes and comes up in the Red Sea. If you have ever gone to Asmara like I have, the water rarely goes. Honestly. Here in Mombasa, the water goes. People who are in Mombasa watching me,
it does. I've seen
go now and see where the water has gone. It means you cannot put a naval base. Your submarines cannot. They will be stopped. Yes. But up here in the Red Sea, the coolness of Djibouti, Asmara, Port Sudan. Now when you reach Port Sudan, the water starts to be bad, noisy. Up to the Suez Canal top in the angle where you see this side, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the Sinai. You see, I'm drawing the map. I know all these things. El Shamek, I have traveled. I've been there. I've eaten breakfast in such places. That's why I talk with a lot of Kisumu operations. Yes, I've been to El Shamek, I've been to Cairo, I've been to Alexandria. I've been to Port Said. I've been to Aswan. I've been to Tripoli. Yeah.
Before it was ruined?
Yes. I've been to Tripoli. We went to Tripoli with the British Prime Minister convoy. Tony Blair, Yes, Tony Blair went to there when they finally ceased the fire. I had a friend of mine, and I thank you very much, James, my good friend. Thank you, Uncle. He put me in one of these jokingly, and I also arrived there. Thank you very much. You know, this is what some people have not seen. I enjoyed. I saw how Libya is. Libya today and Libya yesterday. My God, it's a wide, big difference. So this what Djibouti is doing is persuading people because of the sea. China wants to build a navy base there. France has got already. You know, the French have a navy base there.
So they're looking out for their own interests.
Americans have there already, you know.
Yes.
The Tomahawks that hit Al-Shabaab and those that hit Kony in the forests of Garamba, they came all the way from Djibouti. Tomahawks. The missiles, if you don't know what a Tomahawk is the long-range missile that can travel 2,000 miles going up in the air. It doesn't hit any plane. That target.
It's not like they run missiles.
No, they run ones, Katusha, Sama, Katusha. Yeah, they also have Iran. They have long range. They have bought from Russia.
Serious ones.
Yes, they have. The Hezbollah ones on this other side are the ones who have what we call Katusha. Katusha is an underground city. Give me the 5. Give 5.
Tell me what a Katusha is first.
A Katusha is an underground city where these Katushas come from. It's called Katusha.
Okay.
Yes, did you know that there is a city in Lebanon, underground, with lights, hospitals?
I did not know that.
Touch here.
Thank you for the lesson.
I've been there. When I was working for Sky News.
So that is where Hezbollah resides.
Oh, yes. These come to, you don't see them. They come from the underground. They go for Israel. Israel now has got intercepted, has got
the
interceptors. When the Katushas come, they hit them before they come down. Otherwise, if you allow them to come, they destroy.
Yes.
So that is how things are. So, in a nutshell, Madame Amamo has to deal with the balancing of the West and to get Djibouti, to persuade Djibouti to come to an African dream. Because here we celebrated the Tuareg. The Djibouti foreign minister went back and told us, look at these fools. You can see when Djibouti was launching its bid at the United Nations, you can see, you saw what, oh my God, you saw the type of things they did there. It shows how many countries were there. China today is trying to block India from India becoming a permanent member of the Security Council. So if China can do that, what do you think China can do to us?
What is China's problem with India?
It's because first the population is almost the same.
And the industries are growing very
fast. And
fast.
the Indian industries are also fighting. And then the Indians are more accommodated in the world.
Yes.
Than Chinese are being accommodated. If you see the relationship between Chinese and Africans and the relationship between Africans and Indians,
it's different.
It's different. So that fight is showing its level on the floor of the United Nations.
Okay.
Thank you.
And of course, Djibouti, which lost to Kenya in the election of the African Union representative for the United Nations Security Council, said played up Nairobi's current boundary dispute with Somalia as an indicator that the country could not be trusted to handle regional security matters. Do you know that the issue, the row between Kenya and Somalia, this is what Burundi is using to sell its bid? Who is that helping? Why would Djibouti do that?
To do?
They're using the row between Kenya and Somalia to sell their bid.
Of course.
So you cannot trust Kenya.
The same people whom I told you, you have seen a headline that Talua Oil has sold its shares. Have you seen it? Somewhere here. It has sold. Talua Oil is packing up, going home. They have made money, they have paid their bills, they have paid their tax in Britain, they are fed up.
So they're leaving.
They are leaving. But look at the master who is joining, coming back, is Total Oil. Total Oil has penetrated, and France has penetrated India, has penetrated Somalia. The French and the Djibouti people work together. Remember, Djibouti is a French territory. And you remember, there are more French-speaking countries in the United Nations than there are English-speaking countries. So we have to, within this month, before June, or before I think we used to say 2020. It is here.
2020 is
so
here.
we have to help as everybody, Kenyan, non-Kenyan, African, who has agreed to work with Kenya to help to make sure that Kenya wins the rotational seat.
All right, and of course, speaking about Kenya's foreign affairs, and after getting the new CS, what next? There's something that Kenya really spearheaded, and Kenya is said to have contributed to South Sudan's independence. The Machakos Protocol, signed in Kenya in 2002, saw a ceasefire signed between Sudan and the Southern Sudanese. It was the first of many agreements that led to the creation of Southern Sudan Autonomous Region, which later on led to the independence of South Sudan in 2011. So, Doctor, since the get-go, Kenya has been in the forefront in regarding South Sudan matter. Yesterday, I think the mediators there, led by South Africa's Vice President, as they were issuing their statement, I saw Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka there, one of the opposition leaders in this country, and they were saying that the boundaries, the parties have agreed that the boundaries should not be the immediate issue that should be sorted. That will be sorted after they have signed the peace agreement, and so that may not be able to be done, by the deadline of the 22nd of February. So I saw a face of Kenya represented there, but still, should Kenya go to the front line as it used to be in the matter of South Sudan, perhaps take a lead role there, and maybe this process could hasten?
First of all, as I've told you about in my opening speech about South Sudan, I have already told Dr. Riek Machar that just move faster. Can I tell you one thing? Can we summarize it by saying, please sign? Please sign. If they don't sign, Miriam, the country that has done the United Nations Security Council, there is a country waiting just to place this document for a tribunal. Yes.
All right, and also we've seen now that the CS Rachel Omamo has taken charge here, the CS for Foreign Affairs. We've seen so many times Kenya through the Foreign Affairs Ministry trying to call on the international community, especially the United States, to proscribe Al-Shabaab as a terror group, but United States has refused. That is something that has shocked me, not just me, but a lot of Kenyans, and indeed across the world, because we see Al-Shabaab has all the hallmarks of Al-Qaeda, of Hezbollah, of Hamas, of all of these terror groups across the world. So how is it moving forward that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through the new CS Rachel Omamo, how is it that she could convince the US, she could talk to US, and perhaps make them understand the importance of proscribing the Al-Shabaab?
First of all, I don't know why the United States did not agree, and I don't know. I know why.
All right.
I don't want to lie to the world that I don't know. I know. The United States of America has several flanks of foreign policy. The first foreign policy is a pseudo. It's a pseudo foreign policy headed by NGOs. Okay? The second flank of the United States foreign policy are operatives. They are operatives, ambassadors, like Ambassador Kali and others, Reinberg, who used to be here. Then we have the Central Command of United States Pentagon, which has a say in foreign affairs, of decide we are going to hit Iran. The ambassadors will not be told. The NGO, Mr. George Soros, have you seen the pseudo foreign policy experts, George Soros? And they are funded. They allow activities. The USA allows activities of George Soros. George Soros invites African leaders, gives them money, and tells them to go and kill us. Go and kill Miriam and David. The good hearts go for nothing. Whoa, way. Go and kill us. The United States has that flank. Then in the middle, it has diplomats who put on a very good face. Hello, the USA has no problem with your country. But we have here, this one comes to say, weka pesa hapo. Weka pesa in Zimbabwe to buy machete. They are buying machetes in Zimbabwe to kill people.
Even in Iran right now.
Now you see there? So then they have the Pentagon. Then lastly, they have the real CIA with FBI, with the whatever. That's another. It is there. Those are the branches of American. Actually, I've summarized. You can add there the presidents.
Especially that president.
Because he can veto.
He overrides a lot.
He overrides. The only thing he cannot override now is the stealing of IT information from Ukraine. He's a thief.
But he is.
Muizi.
He's a very dishonest person.
An American president stealing IT data. That he has been impeached. But those are the 4 planks. When Africa is bleeding, when Cameroon is bleeding, when Biafra is bleeding, they don't care. They say, we shall engage Buhari. They can't remove Buhari quickly because Buhari has stocked money in New York and other banks. If you remove it, the economy collapses. We Africans have a problem. We steal the money here and go and enrich those guys in the form of interest rates, interest which goes up on a yearly, on a daily basis. If you have $2 billion in the United States of America, you'd be getting like about 20 million per day in terms of interest, isn't it? So you become rich, but you are richening the jobs of the American people.
Yes, because your money is in that economy.
So one of the problems that America has
is this question of Al-Shabaab.
How should Rachel Omamo handle
Yes.
that matter?
How will he?
She's a very lovely lady. How
How
will she
will she handle the entire matter?
Al-Shabaab, and how will she convince the
You
US?
know what?
Yes.
What the Americans are doing is a dirty game. We might wake up one morning, these guys are meeting Al-Shabaab.
Who knows? They probably are in meeting right now.
Just as they did to Afghanistan under Taliban. So, foreign policy, we talk more details on how to handle it. Why is it that everybody cries of Eritrea, but nobody has moved to tell Mr. Afaki to get out?
He closed all the Catholic schools.
Because he's giving them
hospitals, yes.
Yes, he's giving them information on how to track the big commanders of Al-Shabaab, which is very good for us.
And they have their naval base there.
Yes.
No, near Djibouti.
No, they're in Djibouti. They have maimed several commanders through the Eritrean capital, which is not bad. Very good, thank you. But for Kenya, it has to balance, it has to see, it has to have the eyes, it has to have diplomats, it has to have activists who tell them what is taking place in the Indian Ocean. What can we do? What does Somalia want to do? Why oil industries? Why is it that someone rushed to sell the oil blocks?
Doctor.
Yes.
While we're still there, before I forget, because I know time might move very, very fast, while we're still talking about the money and the oil blocks. Remember the eco currency that was supposed to take effect this year in the West African countries. So now 5 English-speaking West African countries and Guinea have criticized a move to change the name of the regional currency CFA to the eco. They include Nigeria, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Liberia, and the Gambia. They said they don't want to change. This was an agreement made last year. They said they don't want the monetary to be changed to eco.
They want it to remain in French.
In French, yes. What do you read? What do you make of this? Who has influenced this? Of course.
Now the French, of course, led by Buhari. You know, Buhari is also a French puppet, because Total Oil gave Buhari arms to starve the Biafrans. Hey, you know, Biafrans were starved to death during the Ojukwu War. It's very painful. Very, very painful.
So they don't want the franc now.
No. Someone has...
No, they want the franc. They don't want the echo.
Yes, someone has said, help us. We shall help you.
Because they agreed.
That's international relations, yes. Though. That's why I brought this topic for us on Friday like this, to relax. Not to have hard topics. We have seen headlines here. You have to spare some minutes for the headlines, like 5 minutes. Murukomen, I told you, when I say something, it comes true. There will be a challenge. And the vote here is not only for Jubilee. It is both houses. Both parties in the Senate can vote. So you tell me whether Murukomen can survive.
He will not survive that.
Both parties will vote him out. As we were on air, the MP for Embakasi East shot someone in the B Club. You are aware of that? It's breaking news everywhere.
That is supposed to be Babu Wino.
Yes.
He shot, why? When?
He shot in a bar in the morning. You know, there's that big club. You know, there's something that I have always...
In the morning?
God has given me. Yes. Do you know, do you remember you were here when I said I would never step any foot in a big club?
I don't know where big club is.
Big club is, you can't, because for you, when a big club is taking place, you are asleep, you are in Damascus.
Yes.
Huh?
I'm in Damascus. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was he doing big club early in the morning?
Big club is one of the the richest clubs in Nairobi.
I hear.
You can, a drink in a big club can buy you a house in Bungoma in a day.
I don't want to go, but Bungoma is a nice place. So yeah, let me go.
No,
buy the house.
even Siaya.
So it is expensive.
Yeah, people there pay a bill of 2 million shillings.
Of drinks?
Yes, one day.
Okay.
That's the life we have.
In big club.
Hey, Mama, you see a man collecting money from the car, 2 million, and I'm paying it.
For drinks.
For drinks.
Wow. Okay.
With small girls like this, they don't like big girls.
Forget the small girls. So,
no, but I'm now describing for you.
So what is bubble?
When we reach there, allow it to flow Friday.
You just,
it's the Good Friday.
Breaking news. Bubble,
breaking news. Let's talk about the slender girls.
Shot somebody at B Club.
Yes, he shot somebody. Maybe they started on those small girls. They are here slender like this, tall.
Okay. You
find somebody with 5. So I don't know how they look like horses or what. I don't know. We leave it there. Since you are a Christian Bible reader.
Yes. So has he been arrested? Is he in court? What is happening?
You're asking. You don't want the subject.
I want to know. You brought the news. I want the news part.
Our news editor should have given us a flash, but it was very early in the morning. Okay. It is true.
So the police is on it. They're investigating.
No, they have arrested him.
Was it out?
Because this guy could die. They will first charge him with manslaughter.
Yeah, attempted murder if he survives.
Attempted murder, and then he can pay his bail.
Wow. So Maraga will be on the spot again.
Maraga?
On how he handles this case.
What? Maraga?
Okay, let's just
Yeah. But don't spoil our day.
Right.
We have been doing very well.
We're doing very well, and because of that, police in the Gambia have banned a group that planned to continue anti-protest calling for President Adama Barrow to vacate office. Instead, they have allowed the group Operation 3 Years. They've allowed another protest that was supporting the coming back of Yahya Jammeh to take place. So they banned the protest that wants the president to leave, but they allow the protest that is protesting to allow the former president to come back. What is happening in Gambia? What message is Mr. Adama Barrow trying to send out to the world?
He will be removed also. That's all I can tell you. I don't want to talk about Gambia because Adama Barrow came to power, then he forgot how he came to power. He never even said thank you to me. So I told you there would be a coup. And it's the beginning. Yahya Jammeh has money. Gambia has no money. It will cause a chaos.
It will cause chaos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next, we can call it a day.
Okay. All right.
If you are not exhausted.
No, it's fine. But of course, Sudan Sovereign Council, the person who was heading that has resigned. That happened yesterday.
Who is
after the mutiny
in
Sudan? No, the person who was heading the intelligence, the head of intelligence has resigned. Sudan.
Yeah. You see, the intelligence was because they were mowed down. Kuna mchezo. My systems in Sudan, in Khartoum, told me the death smell there.
The death smell.
They were mowed.
They were mowed. And also Isabel dos Santos, the daughter of the former president of Angola, she said she wants to become the president in 2022 of Angola.
If she's not in jail.
Well, it's just 1 billion. She'll pay it because she's a billionaire.
But they have confiscated the money.
The assets.
Yeah.
And she still has a nerve to say she'll come and run for presidency in 2022. Well,
they are in-laws of mine, so I will not talk much, but I will do. I have been skeptical when I looked at the number of people, 71 people who had banked money outside Angola, I was very concerned that a country like Angola has huge amounts of money that can feed the whole of Africa for 3 years.
Angola DRC could really take care of us. And then look what is happening. All right, I think we're done.
Yeah, thank you very much, viewers. We want to thank, there is Djibouti, there is the ICJ. What way forward? This is the way forward. The presence of Americans in all this theater of operation indicates quite a lot of activities that are taking place in the East African region. Indeed, there is a proxy war that I see coming slowly, and the sponsors of the war will be seen. If you see Tullow Oil winding up its activities in East Africa, especially in Kenya and Uganda, returning to its base after accomplishing what they wanted, you must know there is a problem. So for people in Africa, they should always look at what can be done if this or that happens to us. The signs are there. We are reading them. We can see them. We can see the comet standing 7 weeks. For 7 weeks they stood. The time comes when they fall on us. I think let's start engaging, let's start opening up, let's start talking about these issues. Let's not hide the discussion on these issues. God bless Africa. God bless everybody. Our viewers will return on Sunday for Africa Showdown, and we shall be looking at several topics on the continent that are making headlines at 2 p.m. East African Standard Time. On behalf of the panel, myself, Dr. David Matanga, and...
My name is Miriam Mugut, and I'll see you on Sunday.
Thank you.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Fellow Africans, I took this petition to the court in order to stop any future usage of falsehood and false documents, procured witnesses of the Waki Commission. I took this petition to the court 4 years ago in order to make sure that the Chief Prosecutor of International Criminal Court does not use this evidence anytime in the future, whether tomorrow or 10 years to come, to refer to this evidence because the evidence was fake. It is with this dismay and with this courage that I took to go to court in Kenya to seek a judicial review and to redeem the credibility of both those accused and the victims of this catastrophe that occurred in Kenya, that I decided to seek to expunge this report from the reports and the statute books of Kenya. It is unfortunate that the 3 judges in Kenya, whom I will name now, Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Judge Aburil, and Judge Onyengo, all of them sat down and gave very silly, flimsy, prudish, sardonic ruling against our petition. I want to tell the Kenyans that I have done my best. I want to be on record that should this thing reappear again, don't call me. Should it reappear again, don't say I never told you. Should the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court use this fake evidence again against Kenyans, don't say I did not tell you. My role was to go and remove these obnoxious toxins from the books of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to tell the world that my torrid road, a long road that I've taken in search for this envelope, has ended in Kenya so far. But I want to announce that Kenya is not the only state party in international law. Kenya is not the only state party. I will in future, very soon, detail to you which other state party I'm going to seek this envelope to be expunged and to be made public to the people of the world. I want to thank you all. I want to tell you that a detailed document which is entitled My Long Road, Torrid Road to Work envelope will be found on www.panafricanforumltd.com. You can read it, you can dissect, you can see the days, the long road, what I took, what I did, referenced, well documented, and may God help you that at one time somebody in Kenya will stand up to say thank you very much.